It's no secret New York has been hit with extreme winter weather this year, and as we enter a second week of extreme cold, the death toll has risen to 17. A cold blue, which is issued when temperatures dip below 32 degrees at night, has been in effect in the city since January 19th, which means no one can be turned away from homeless shelters or drop-in centers when the protocol is in place. More than 1,100 people have been placed in shelters and safe havens since the cold blue went into effect. The city has set up various warming centers in each borough and warming buses to ensure that those who need to warm up and escape the cold can do so. Many like to ignore the issue of homelessness in New York City and how the city has traditionally interacted with the unhoused populations who lack a concrete trust in the city's government. This is no more evident than when we get extremely cold weather and those unhoused people refuse to go to shelters or follow instructions. Homeless sweeps, a method used by Eric Adams and many others, is a means of forcibly removing people utilizing the NYPD without trained individuals educated in the methods intended to get them into long-term housing, ultimately never helping the homeless get off the street. 22 audit by the New York Comptroller's Office found that in the entire year, Mayor Adams' sweeps connected only 3 out of 2,300 people to stable housing because they were cycled from shelter to jail to back to the street. But we also have to hold the mayor's office accountable, no matter who the incumbent, for how they deal with the city's issues, and the unhoused is one of them. Instead of aggressive sweeps, Mayor Mamdani's intensified outreach during the brutal cold front has resulted in over 980 placements to transitional housing. This is transitional housing, not stable housing, but the approach is different because this transitional housing puts them on a pipeline to stability, and the mayor's intentional focus is getting the unhoused off the streets into stable housing, unlike forced encampment sweeps, which just put you in an endless cycle. Mayor Mamdani announced a new 106-bed safe haven shelter specifically targeted towards unsheltered individuals who may be resistant to other services like traditional shelters. A lot of the unhoused populations have zero trust in the government.
Eric Adams connected 3 out of 2,300 people to stable housing in an entire year. 3. That's not a policy that's a rounding error. My local animal shelter has a better placement rate than that.
Outdoor death toll in New York City has risen to 16 people today. Mayor Zohran Mamdani says hypothermia has played a role in at least 13 of those deaths, according to preliminary reports, while 3 of them are being looked into as overdoses. Now, this is all pending further official confirmation from the medical examiner's office.
New Yorkers remain exposed to the elements. As of this morning, 16 of our fellow New Yorkers have passed away outside during this brutal stretch of cold.
The city has been under a code blue since January 19th. That means the temperatures have dipped below freezing for an extended period of time, so the city has activated emergency protocol to make sure everyone who is out on the streets or doesn't have a place to go can get into city shelters and warming centers to prevent this from happening. When the mayor took office, he vowed to stop homeless encampment sweeps, something that was previously in place by the Adams administration. But the mayor said today that none of these people who passed away were at encampments at the time that they were either found or taken to the hospital where they later passed away.
Instead of looking to just push New Yorkers from one encampment to another part of this city, we're going to look to emphasize the services that we can connect those New Yorkers with.
The city has relaxed their intake policies, they have increased shelter capacity, and they also have warming buses across the 5 boroughs. Some are 24/7, while others are just open overnight. You can find one near you by going to 311.com. If you see anybody outside who needs a place to go, you can call 911 and a team will be dispatched.
16 people dead outside, and 13 of them from hypothermia. In New York City, in 2026. A city with more buildings than most countries, and people are still dying from the cold on the streets. And the part that really gets me is when he said none of these people were at encampments when they died. So the old strategy of sweeping encampments wouldn't have saved a single one of them. Think about that.
Okay. I'm a native New Yorker, and in my 31 years of age, I think my nose is even leaking right, but I don't think I've ever experienced New York this cold. It is 9 freaking degrees outside. Oh my God, my hand just got frozen. Oh.
31 years in New York, and this is the coldest he's ever seen it. When a native New Yorker is shocked by the cold, you know it's not a normal winter.
Do you know what happens to people when they're homeless in New York City during the wintertime? And no one is monitoring them to tell them, y'all need to get up and get out of here. Like, it's not by choice. You're going. They freeze to death. 18 adults were found frozen to death due to hypothermia because they were given a chance to not have their homeless encampment removed. According to the mayor of New York City, Zoran, he said it's inhumane and ineffective if you remove homeless encampment. This is not Cali. This is not Arizona. This is not Florida. We don't have nice weather all the time. It gets freaking cold here. It was -2 just a couple of days ago. Not even stray dogs and stray cats, not even the rats were out. And you left human beings out there. And don't tell me you had warm buses. Don't tell me you had people patrolling to make sure that they're okay and advising them to come in. You can't advise someone who is intoxicated or on some substance abuse. You can't advise someone who is not mentally capable of making a rational decision to decide if they want to go get shelter and stay warm. You have to tell them, you gotta come.
This is the conversation nobody wants to have. One side says, stop the sweeps, they're inhumane. The other side says, 18 people froze to death because you stopped forcing them inside. And he's right about one thing. You can't advise someone who's intoxicated or mentally ill to make a rational decision about their own survival. That's not respecting their autonomy. That's abandoning them. 18 people are dead, and neither side's policy saved them.